Answered in kind. 15. What makes a powerful being? On power, fragility, and the quiet alchemy of becoming. What, then, constitutes a powerful being? Contrary to the catechisms of domination that have calcified through history, power is not born of coercion. It is not forged by wrenching agency from another's hands, nor by constricting the horizon of another's becoming. Such gestures are not demonstrations of strength, but disclosures of brittleness, hairline fractures made audible by the shriek of control. Where domination appears, it is not authority that speaks, but unexamined pain, fear long fossilized, shame ossified into creed. To compel is to confess, and projection is the confession. For when suffering is permitted to persist unilluminated, when fear, guilt, grief, and humiliation are neither named nor metabolized, they do not dissipate. They congeal. They crystallize into identity. And once identity is structured around unhealed injury, any prospect of softening feels like annihilation. Not metaphorical death, ontological death. The ego, having mistaken its wound for its spine, recoils from healing as though from extinction. And so pain, denied its proper alchemical transmutation, mutates. It blisters into anger. It masquerades as righteousness. It adopts the lexicon of virtue while retaining the mechanics of terror. This is how cruelty learns to speak in moral sentences. There are those who scoff at the language of energy, as though disbelief could exempt them from participation. Yet, all that is energy, organized, vibrating, exchanging. Photons lace the retinas. Neutrinos pass unimpeded through enamel and bone. Quarks shimmer in ceaseless negotiation. The magnetosphere cups our bodies like an unseen chalice. To deny energy is to deny the medium of one's own existence. We live not amid energy, but as it. What, then, is a wall? A convenience of perception, a consensual hallucination stabilized by probability fields. Solidity is not an absolute. It is an agreement between particles to keep their distance. And if the physical world is this porous, this permeable, how much more so the emotional and psychic strata we pretend are impermeable? If you believe your consciousness only resides within your skull, you sell yourself short. It is precisely here that resistance arises. Emotional energy demands accountability. To acknowledge it is to admit that thoughts are not neutral ornaments, but vectors, choices with consequence. And many recoil from this realization because responsibility terrifies those who have survived by dissociation. Fear begets avoidance. Avoidance begets distortion. Distortion begets harm. Yet, there are many doors in the house of awareness. If one believes oneself powerless, one will be. This is not punishment. It is coherence. Free will operates even when misinformed, unless, of course, no one ever disclosed that another option existed. One cannot choose a door one has never perceived. And if imagination has been roofed with a ceiling and declared complete, many will crouch beneath it obediently, mistaking confinement for realism, until pressure accumulates, until suffering grows articulate, until the cost of remaining eclipses the terror of release. And so, life force is hemorrhaged daily, casually, through judgment, condemnation, blame, criticism, gossip. These are not moral failures. They are energetic leaks. They are expenditures drawn from reservoirs of unexamined affect. To cling to them feels righteous because righteousness anesthetizes inquiry. But righteousness is often only pain in ceremonial robes. Some attempt to bottle their feelings, believing repression to be restraint. Yet, repression is not containment. It is deferred detonation. What is not felt consciously will be enacted unconsciously. What is not spoken inwardly will be hurled outward. Expression is necessary, but direction matters. To express emotion is to liberate it. To project it onto another is to replenish the very reservoir one hoped to drain. This is why cycles persist. In one lexicon, this could be named energetic vampirism, a term often trivialized into caricature. Yet, the mechanism is real. Pain discharged indiscriminately seeks new hosts, not resolution. These things, which are not toys, though people play with them as though they are, putting off the responsibility they will inevitably have to bear one day. And toys with hidden spines are dangerous. You do not know what storehouses others carry. You do not know what tectonic pressures are straining beneath their composure. A careless provocation may rupture a dam whose flood will not distinguish between past and present, offender and witness. Thus, balance is not passivity, it is mastery. Poised restraint is not weakness, it is a golden chalice. Capacity without compulsion. To blast others with one's pain is to enter a deadlock with oneself. Over time, the cage begins to feel like the only architecture available. Dread settles in. Futility whispers. Meaning erodes. Why try if this is all there is? Because not trying guarantees stagnation. Many delay the experiment of doing differently, preferring the familiarity of eruption. These are the people whose presence exhausts, not because they feel deeply, but because they feel indiscriminately. They discharge without regard, mistaking intensity for honesty. This is not authenticity, it is fragmentation. The knotted bitterness in the belly, blame, resentment, judgment, behaves like a gravitational singularity. It consumes vitality, warps perception, and accelerates aging. If one wishes to wither efficiently, this is the method. If one wishes to drink from the fountain of youth, one must cease ingesting poison. Turn the light of awareness inward. Ask, without theatrics, why do I feel this way? Speak it, write it, move it through the body, express it without weaponizing it. Recognition is the solvent of stagnation. What is revealed can be alchemized. What is hidden ferments. The blame game endures because it feels active, but it is only bookkeeping for a bankrupt economy. There are no winners, only perpetual rematches. Burn the scorecard. Refuse the arena. Observe how accumulation fails to satisfy those who hunger inwardly. Wealth multiplies, yet lack persists. Performance sharpens, yet emptiness remains. What good are palatial rooms if one cannot savor a quiet morning? What good is gilded laughter if the jaw remains clenched? External gold cannot substitute for inner ore, and tragically, the inner gold is often mistaken for something shameful, something to be exorcised, because it is buried within insecurity. Projection follows. What one cannot bear to face internally is condemned externally. Thus, the cycle seals itself. Some never pause long enough to look, because the pain has been identity for so long that illumination feels like dissolution. And in such cases, no accumulation will rescue them. Not wealth, not praise, not conquest. Most do not know this. They see the trappings and feel envy, which is another quiet hemorrhage of life force. Envy is sorrow disguised as comparison, yet there is only one of you, singular, unrepeatable, unexchangeable. So too with the terror of rejection, the dread that one's brilliance will go unseen. But if you have not seen it yourself, truly seen it, how could another be tasked with the labor? External validation is a starving mouth. It cannot be fed. The inner gold was never meant to be discarded. It was meant to be faced, embodied, integrated. And here is the quiet revelation. Power is not the ability to dominate, but the capacity to remain porous without dissolving. Power is coherence under pressure. Power is restraint chosen freely. Power is the courage to feel without inflicting. Power is the willingness to transmute rather than transmit pain. The truly powerful do not need to shrink others to feel substantial. They do not require enemies to feel real. They do not confuse control with safety. They have turned the light of awareness inward and survived. And in doing so, they have become spacious enough that others may breathe in their presence. That is power. Not loud, not brittle, not afraid, but quietly, inexorably alive.